Stories this week. Interesting stream week for us. Friday we did something new and we did the super secret special episode, the Indie, which was awesome. We absolutely love doing that. Now we are back to regularly scheduled programming. I don't want to say unfortunately, because we're very glad to be back to Carmilla. But last week, Friday, was really fun.
Yeah,
and I hope we get to do more things like that in the future.
Yeah, I think, we should maybe, even if it's not like a local creator, a small creator, somebody that wants to kind of collab with us, maybe it's just,
hey, welcome back.
Maybe it's just, a short story instead of like a, one-off short story.
Yeah, we'll probably do a short story. I don't know if you were in here yet, but I literally opened up the whole stream by saying we're back to our regularly scheduled programming, but damn, was Friday really fun, and I hope we can do more stuff like that in the future. So, on to Carmilla. Well, getting into it here.
Yeah.
We read chapters 9 through 11. And we almost read 12, but we decided not to because there was no quick way for anybody reading along with us to get the, hey, new chapter. Yeah, it really was fun, Kristen. It was an absolute blast. Because, again, we truly enjoyed your short stories. We truly enjoyed reading them, and we had such fun talking about them with you. So, anytime you want to send us something, please feel absolutely free to send us something. We will dig right in. Like a holiday dinner. Let me get all the Hawaiian rolls.
Yeah, it was great.
Actually, you can have the Hawaiian rolls. I want the deviled eggs.
I like Hawaiian rolls.
And then you're a little...
It's got that sweet sugar. Sweet sugar.
You're a little more bread-bellied than I am.
It's all the wheat, and we know that's not beer, so...
It's not all the wheat. Technically it is. It's all the bowls of cereal you just eat constantly.
Hey, cereal is the breakfast, lunch, and dinner of champions.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you think like Alona Mar, gold or Olympic medalist rugby player? Do you think she eats just? Because I think her team got silver.
I don't know who Alona Mar is, but if they're playing rugby, 100% it's cereal.
I don't think she eats just. She definitely has lots of protein in her diet. Like she's very
they have protein cereals. They got that Special K.
I bought a protein cereal. I bought the Reese's Puffs one, or the one that's supposed to be like Reese's Puffs. I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Like I'm always trying to get more and more protein because I'm like training for shit. The protein cereal sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it so much, so much. I'll just eat the eggs. I enjoy eggs, so.
Fair.
Do they eat eggs in the? They had to have eaten, like... That was a stupid question. Of course Carmilla's people ate eggs.
Yeah.
Going to Wattpad soon.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
100%.
I wouldn't want to do another episode until we have, enough to cover. But.
Yeah. Like, the amount that we had... with those 3 short stories was perfect for like a special episode.
Yeah.
I'm still going to read these fucking chapters. 100%. So, some news. We are working on, and this should have already been done, but I dropped the ball. We are working on getting a Discord server set up to help, get information about the podcast out. We're still kicking around the idea of jumping on Blue Sky and Twitter. We're working.
Yeah, I think we are looking for a way to send out updates that are more easily digestible, right? And also, like, a little bit easier on us. TikTok is fun, Instagram is fine, but you have to have some kind of imagery to go with it. And if we just want to say...
Yeah, like a quick, like, hey, those of you reading along with us, we're adding a chapter this week.
Yeah.
And in sad news,
Carmilla.
This is the second to last episode of Carmilla.
Yeah, we've read 9 through 11. There are 5 chapters left,
but one of which is a conclusion.
Yeah, the last 16 is the conclusion. It really feels like the story. If we're not going to find a good stopping point. is what it feels like.
No, because the reason we almost read a whole nother chapter is because where 11 ended, 12, like, it's literally just the same scene going forward. We are reaching the apex of the story right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're probably going to start putting out some polls on all the social medias and stuff with, 3 or 4, maybe 5 choices that we come up with, and letting people vote on what we should read next. I think that's
I know
an idea.
Yeah, that's an idea. We definitely want to have that audience engagement, right? That chat engagement.
100%. Heck yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'll share the Discord link again in the chat here in a few minutes. But what I was saying...
We're also working on... one more thing. We're also working on a link tree type thing. I went to actually make a link tree, and I was like, oh, I'm not paying for this every month. So we're looking for like a link tree alternative. I think we know of one.
There's a couple of different ideas, but honestly, like Discord works. We can add our other socials into YouTube and
God,
Twitch.
my cats are going crazy.
In fact, I did add. I want to say I added Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube
to the Twitch. You did. I saw that today when I was looking at the change debate. I'm a little upset with you, by the way.
Why?
You haven't commented on my head looking like 1990s
Shasta
cup.
I always think of Shasta, but really it's just the cups.
Yeah, the cups.
Yeah.
I bought new headbands.
Yeah,
I saw this one, and we decided we're not going to buy a bunch at once because they're, before my military discount, they're like $16 a pop.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I told Brittany, I was like, we can each get 2. And there's quite a few that I really want, but this one I was like, I have to get that one first. I have to. Like, look at this thing. It's so cool.
I've been like, I always want to get like a hat, or they have the jackets that look like the cups and things like that.
Oh yeah. Dude, it all started when I found that fucking Tigger windbreaker.
The color block jacket.
It looks just like something out of the 90s, man, like when I was a kid.
So we were saying about a poll, and like that's definitely something we want to do, in the future. We have to, we always have to be realistic about where the channel is at this time, and while we greatly appreciate Kristen coming out and enjoying the show and hanging out with us.
Here's what's going to happen, right? We are going to eventually blow up, hopefully. And we will always remember our OG Kristen.
Yeah.
Always. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Every week. Like, she popped in that first time. She's been here every time since.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We are here for it. Kristen, much love to you. About following
you're about to follow the IG?
Oh, got it. The Instagram.
Nice.
I am working on... I've been posting decently. We're slowly trying to ramp up to get more... like up to like 4 or 5 posts on our social medias a week. I think right now
we did about 3,
about 2 or 3. Yeah, we're working on it. We are starting. I posted on social medias this past Sunday. We are starting a new thing. Every Sunday, a video will go out. A post will go out to all socials for Suggestion Sunday. And we're glad you're here, Kristen. Really, like every time we talk to you, it's so fun. It's so much fun. And now you're gonna know what book we're reading. And you'll have the time to start reading it with us, and you can start putting in your thoughts on the chapters too, and that's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
if you have the time to read along with us.
I think next session, so next time we meet here, we will have the decision. That way, it gives us time to get the next book.
Yeah, I think by next session, as early as look at that. We have a new follower on Instagram. It just popped up on the phone. Here in probably about 2 or 3 days, we'll already have our little list figured out, and we'll go ahead and start posting it. So that way, if we don't get, very many, if any, votes, we will just make the decision. So next episode, we can be like, hey, here's what we're going to read next. Here's the chapters we're going to read next. Let's do this thing.
But, while we're talking about it...
Why don't you just pull up? What's this? Oh.
I'm pulling up the Discord so I can drop the link.
Gotcha.
I don't know how to do that. But while we're thinking about it,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I guess Kristen, I want to include you in kind of our thoughts. So, what would you? Carmilla is a classic literature story. So, what would you like to for us to read? You want to read some? Do you want us to like look at something maybe more modern? Like in the last 30 years, do we want to still do something maybe a little more classical?
Genres like gothic horror.
Yeah, I mean we could do something like I mean Poe doesn't have a lot of like long or like actually I don't know if Poe has a single novel that I know of.
Poe does have some short stories,
But there are some short stories that could go a couple of sessions.
When we do Poe, I think the Poe decision is going to be like, hey, we're going to have some smaller episodes throughout just to start covering some Poe
of the
here
Poe,
and there.
yeah.
You know, because we could cover all of Poe just like we're doing Carmilla, but it's going to be like all over the place.
Yeah, we could also do something like Alice in Wonderland, I think is always fun.
Yeah.
You know, or something more modern, something in whatever genre. So just kind of, share your thoughts in the chat here with us, Kristen, or even if you want to think on it in the Discord, we just sent out the link to.
Yep. Or, you can shoot us a message on Instagram or just add us on Instagram. Like,
Comment.
Like post the book and be like, yo, at Storms and Stories, read this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I think that's the news.
Yeah.
Let's get you want to get into it?
Well, I guess
scoot over. Do you want to be closer to me?
I do want to be closer to you, but
it's
it's a symmetry thing. I have a problem. Okay.
I know you have a problem. You have a lot of problems.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work the way it should sometimes.
It's true. It's true.
I think we can. Well, before we get into it, let's ask. Let me ask. I guess. I haven't been to the bookstore. I haven't been out really. Mm-hmm. So, what about you? Have you checked anything new out?
Nope. Because the last book I bought was Sunrise on the Reaping, the new Hunger Games novel, and I read that in one go.
Well, and last time I think we talked, you said you were all caught up in a couple of your manga that you were reading. Have you picked any new of that up?
No,
not yet.
Mm-mm.
I'm kind of in that same like flux.
I feel that.
Yeah, reading, having time to read. Like we took this on, and we already don't have a ton of time, right? I work full time, have a family, and we play D&D.
I'm going to say this on like what I do. I would, if I had a time machine right now, I would go back and slap young Jeffrey for making housewife jokes.
Oh yeah,
because I'm a house husband. I do all the cooking, the cleaning, the shopping, like all that stuff. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
like surprisingly, I enjoy it because I have the freedom. I do things on my own time. But yeah, it could be a lot. I never realized that. So I'd have to go slap young Jeffrey for making jokes. Oh no, we've gone this whole time without music.
But that's okay.
Hey, we did a sound test this time.
Yeah.
Oh, we just paused the music to listen to our sound test.
Yeah, nothing missed, No big deal.
Oh, heck yeah. Like, are you a teacher or, like, daycare? Work with kids. I don't have kids. I'll never have kids. Jordan has kids.
I won't have any more.
I'm pretty much your child.
That's true. Daycare. Bless you.
Heck yeah.
I don't envy you in any way. But if it's something you enjoy, I'm all for it. I don't get along well. Well, sorry, that's not true. I get along well with other people's kids. I don't get along well with other parents.
Yeah. My kids are my cats and my dog. I get along with my nieces. I finally have a nephew, but he's this big, so I don't touch him.
Yeah.
Babies creep me out, man.
Yeah.
I'm always afraid I'm gonna break them. I know I'm not, but
You could.
if I
It's
dropped
possible.
him.
I'm just saying it is possible.
Yes, I know. You knew what I meant.
I mean, it's got to be hard though. I have hung my children upside down by their ankles.
They love
you know?
that shit, though. I've seen you do it.
I hung your, I've hung a baby, not a baby, a toddler up by its pant loop on a chain link fence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We were way, way younger when that happened, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's always good to do something you love.
Yep.
And if you love working in a daycare, then fucking keep working in a daycare and don't let anybody tell you different.
Yeah.
Because people are haters around these parts.
Everywhere? These parts is everywhere?
Yeah, around these parts in this instance is the earth.
Yeah.
People are haters on the earth. Don't let anybody steal your joy. If they do, send them my way. I'll deal with it.
You know, well, before we got to get into the book, but I have to say this because it brings me joy.
You're capable of joy?
Very rarely. There's been a lot in the last 5 to 10 years about reducing the shame and disdain for certain like industries, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, it was always like, why do you want to be a garbage man? Whatever, right?
That was always the biggest lie told to me by parents.
First of all, they get paid a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. I'm old enough to have been young enough for the go to college or you'll end up like the garbage man. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like the garbage man has like, that's great pay, great benefits.
But there's like, you see the videos, or I guess it's stories. It's like, I was overhearing a mother tell her child or ask her child what he wanted to be when he grew up, and he said he wanted to be a garbage man, and the mom's, instead of telling, the kid, like, don't do that, go do something else that you're, that's more, you're worthy of or whatever. It's like, cool. If that's what you want to be, do it. Do the thing you want to do.
I'm excited. Like, that's not happening as much as I personally would like in the world, but there has been a lot more of.
There's been a cultural change.
Yes.
It's not obviously sweeping the nation, but it is a change in.
It needs to.
Yeah.
It needs to sweep the nation. Damn, just let people do what they want as long as they're not hurting nobody.
Yeah.
And let people work the jobs they want as long as they're not hurting anybody.
Well,
Shit.
yeah, I'm all about that. Do what you want as long as it doesn't bother me.
That's why, I think we've had this conversation before. Like, that's why you'll never hear me talking shit about, like, OnlyFans girls and stuff. Like, they're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
They're making a living. Like,
yep.
Let them fucking make their living,
Yeah, do what you want as long as it's not bothering you.
And even better if they're enjoying it. Like, let people just enjoy their lives and live their lives. If it's not hurting people, it's fine. Fuck off. Like, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we gotta move on.
So
Start getting heated.
Rant over. I guess back to the book at hand, if you will.
Back to Carmilla. It's gonna be a lot harder. We have much bigger books. This thing is just so easy to move around.
Also, I just want to show here. I don't know how well this is going to translate, but
this
is
we're so close. Like
the bookmark. We have about 40 pages remaining. I think.
Like, look at how small that is over here. No,
we're at 125, and we have 21 pages. Or sorry, 125, 31 pages. I'm not good at math, which is scary.
Oh, I think I'm out of illustrations. Because I was just about to make a note that I haven't seen an illustration and like flipping through to see how many pages I have left. Illustrations, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, wow. They came early, huh?
The first one was the funeral.
Yeah.
The second one was Laura in bed. And the third one was, in fact, Carmilla. I was right. Well, not the first one. I didn't know that was the funeral.
Yeah.
I guessed it might have been, but wasn't sure.
Well, I guess I started last time with my tabs, which I didn't do this time, but I did take some notes. I just don't like it. Feels like a form of what's the graffiti? What's that like?
You're talking about like defacement, like defacing
Yeah,
property.
yeah.
So are you telling me you feel like putting the tabs in your book is defacing your feels like defacing your book?
Yeah, but
Mine, looking at it, was just a sensory issue. Like if I had to like have those out while I was trying to read this, I would want to rip my skin off.
it is a sensory issue.
Did your background just change?
It does that.
Okay, that took me out for a second.
It is a sensory issue, but it's more of a mental problem. I don't do stickers on my stuff. I don't like to be written on. I don't.
You have tattoos.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, tattoos are the worst. I got her. I tell Brittany this too. Like, you can't just like scooch the cat away. Spray the cat.
Okay. Well, look, the cat's still there. Spray it.
She's not doing anything now. You leave my sweet baby alone. I'll deal with her.
Anyways, yeah, it's a weird thing that I just don't like. I don't like to highlight in any book. I never highlighted in a textbook. I can't do it.
Oh no, textbooks. Fuck that. Fuck you with your $800 textbook. Okay, I'm gonna fuck this shit up. I'm gonna write all over it.
I can't do it.
Because it shouldn't be that expensive.
I just can't. I can't. So, anyways, back to this book. You start.
Okay, I'm gonna start out by saying immediately I was right
Okay.
about the doctor.
Oh, maybe.
Close enough. Because remember, this is before characters like Van Helsing.
Yeah.
So I was right. Because that doctor came in and was like, yo, dog, this is fucking vampires. Like, I tried to tell you months ago.
It is. Okay. I think that this is a doctor aware of the supernatural.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say that it's like Van Helsing.
Van Helsing, if I remember correctly, and we will be informed when we read Dracula, but
Yeah.
like, he wasn't a fucking like monster hunter or vampire hunter. He was a doctor that had a lot of knowledge about it, and maybe had dealt with one.
Okay.
That
So
was,
not Van Helsing in the common media that we see.
yeah,
right?
like if you see Van Helsing in like Dracula media, that's much closer. But I truly believe this doctor is the basis for Van Helsing, because we already knew that he talked to Laura's father, and we were assuming he was talking about vampires because of the context. And now we've got the answers that this guy knows about vampires, and because her father called the doctor. The doctor, had a conversation with her father about it. Then they showed the bruise from the bite,
Yeah.
and he was like, "See, I told you." He literally said, "I told you so."
Which was interesting, because I don't recall, and I probably have the tab still, but the last dream bite, did it happen on the neck, or was it still on the chest area?
No, I think the last one was actually on the neck, because that caught me too, because I was like, hold on.
That's a different spot than I remember.
Yeah, but I think the last dream was the neck. I did not go back and check because I was just like so engrossed in continuing to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I really found interesting about the chapter titled "The Doctor" in and of itself wasn't that I was right about the doctor. It was the prescribed care.
Yeah.
The very sneaky separation of her from Carmilla.
Yeah. Don't have Laura without an attendant.
Yep, and it's the Mademoiselle. They told the Mademoiselle, you are to be at her side at all times. She is not to be without you.
Was it the Mademoiselle or the Madame?
Oh, it was the Madame.
Okay.
But that's not even that much. But they just left the Sloss to go check out an old ruin.
Yeah, that's a little bit
and they
further.
purposely left Carmilla. Oh, that is the next chapter. My bad.
Yeah.
I skipped ahead.
That's okay. I had a note here that's immediately following the doctor's visit,
Okay.
and it's
Can you read that?
the note.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think your handwriting's worse than mine.
I wrote this while I was in the passenger seat of the vehicle.
So you're saying that your handwriting is immaculate any other time?
Exactly.
Write something down right now. I want to see this because I don't believe you. I've known you for too long. I think you're fibbing, kind sir. Let's see.
The quick
No, dog. No, this is bad handwriting.
brown
It's bad. If I can show it, I will.
Fox jumps.
Why are you capitalizing every letter?
Because of the military. Over
I was in the military a lot longer, and I didn't do
the.
that. Is it like Marine Corps
It's a block.
dumbness?
You have to write in block
But
letters.
you didn't capitalize quick.
Yeah, because I hate Q.
But the capital Q is easier than lowercase. This is enough.
Hold
This
on,
is
I'm
enough.
not done. Jumps over the lazy dog.
Give me that. I hope I can get this on the camera well. Get out of here, light. Oh, there we go. That works.
Immaculate.
That is not immaculate. Look at that.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to write in calligraphy?
It'd be neater. It'd be neater. I'm not going to show his notes from driving in the car. I do believe that you did in fact write that in the car now. What's your note?
I made a note about Laura's father basically says like, or he gets a letter from the postman or whatever it is, and it's like, hey, it's from the general. He's coming to visit.
Yep.
And he was agitated and short about it, and all of the other times prior to this that we hear tell about Laura's father, it's kindness, patience, sympathy.
Well, even when they got the last letter from the general that they called aggressive, he was still really chill. We all have bad handwriting. Mine is also very bad.
You got to remember to finish at least one thought.
I know. But he was still very calm about that letter.
Yeah.
So something about this letter, because we didn't get to read this one. They didn't tell us what it said. So something about this letter really shook him. And obviously it has to do with his thoughts on what the doctor said and then what was in the letter from the general.
I don't think that the letter said anything other than, hey, I'm coming to visit.
But I think it was about how the letter was written.
No, I think it was immediately following the doctor's visit and Laura's father's agitation with the scenario.
I don't think so.
The concern for his daughter, the thinking of what he's going to do next, and the fact that the general's coming to visit and he has plans. I don't think it has anything to do with the letter itself.
No, I think that the letter was probably very abrupt, like you're saying, but I think the agitation doesn't stem from I'm worrying about, well, because clearly he is worrying about Laura, but I don't think that's what it is. I think he is thinking back to what the general wrote in his last letters to them.
Yeah.
Everything that's happened, and what the doctor has now told him twice and confirmed on the second time. I think Laura's dad is starting to put some pieces together in his own mind and is thinking whatever's going on with Laura is what happened to the general's daughter.
Likely.
I think that is what is happening. That's where the agitation stems from, is that there's something bad going on, and it's much worse than they thought, and it is not an illness. It is something they have to fight.
Yeah, likely. But I don't know. Well, no. That's tough. You actually said something that triggered a memory, though, that the doctor knows about vampires and has, information about them. Mm-hmm. The Mountebank also, at least, he was like, hey, here's a charm to fight, to ward off
Yes.
Upires, which makes me think that, and it wouldn't be surprising of the time, to have the boogeymans and especially this area that we're talking about in Eastern Europe, is probably more than, there's a lot more people that at least know of the stories than you think.
I think the Mountebank is also inspiration to the modern or the classical horror that we know now, for how in Dracula and the Wolfman, how the Romani just kind of knew about all the shit going on. I think that's the way that they have the knowledge. I think the Mountebank character was what inspired the knowledge of those characters.
Yeah.
Not taking away from Romani culture, because it's very vast, wide, and beautiful. But I think because I'm seeing the similarities here. Mm-hmm. And that's the fun part about this, is we're
Yeah.
finding similarities to things that we know and enjoy, and then when we consume that media later, we can think back to one of the progenitors of this genre.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the note I had, is kind of unlike him, right? Unlike him.
Yeah.
It was description that we hadn't heard about Laura's father before.
Does that say chapter 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it looked like a 19.
Yeah, I just made a circle.
Yeah. I gotta stop looking at your notes and keep getting distracted.
So basically, after the doctor's visit, Laura and the madame are having a conversation, and it's like very conjecture, I guess. Like, they're not really saying a whole lot in the story, but it's just kind of I wonder what they're talking about. Why is he looking at my neck, and things like that.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out what is going on
context,
with the doctor and the father and the prescribed remedy.
Yeah, and here's an interesting thing just popped into my head. I don't know. I think the doctor knows potentially that there's a visitor, and that the visitor is the vampire. Maybe he just thinks that she's being visited in the night by these creatures.
I actually, now that you say that, I think it's neither. I think it's in between. He doesn't know, and he doesn't think she's being visited. He has a good feeling that there's a visitor, and she is the one doing it.
Maybe, but
Because you gotta think, we've heard about this doctor.
and
And we know this doctor travels.
yeah.
So the odds of this doctor having gone to the general as well, this exact doctor, are pretty high.
Yeah, well, the reason why I say maybe not, maybe he thinks about a visitor, is because in the next small section it talks about Laura's dad saying, hey, Doc, if you can come back by later this evening, we have another, a guest who is displaying similar symptoms that you should probably check out, but she doesn't come out until much later. And I think that's where maybe the doctor didn't really reply. He said, I'll come back later.
Yeah.
And so maybe at that point he's like, oh, interesting, a later in the day, waker, then maybe this is the person who's having the problems. Maybe, I don't know. But I think that there's some open-endedness there that's going to be interesting to see resolved. But also, are they getting back in time for night? Because pretty much right after that, he says, hey, let's get on the road.
Yeah, I assumed it was early morning.
Noon.
Was it?
It was before noon because...
Yeah.
I wouldn't say early morning, but it was before noon because he says I took something differently than you did, but the way you explained it, then it makes it seem like he's saying, hey, we have to leave before noon because keeps that Carmilla won't be coming with us.
Well, yes, because I truly believe that was his intent. He just didn't say that outright. Because of the prescription of don't leave Laura alone, which means no alone time with Carmilla.
Yeah.
We know that, but they didn't say that. So why would he be like, cool, we have to leave now? Like, he's definitely pushing for them to be gone before Carmilla is awake. Because I believe he is trying to keep them separated. As he should, clearly. But yeah, so they're going to visit an old ruins, an old Castle Karnstein, I believe is what it's called. And this is this moment, when they start talking about where they're going, this is the huge, almost as big of an aha moment as the painting that we talked about, because the painting was of Mircalla Karnstein. That, Carmilla said, oh, an old descendant of mine, and we know Laura's mother was a distant descendant of the Karnstein family. So we're going to Carmilla's ancestral home.
And really they're going to like a church or an abbey.
Well, yes. But that's what, that's what her father is saying to her. And they probably are literally going to do everything he's saying they're going to do, but I think her father's thought process, because why go to an abbey in a ruin?
They were planning to meet with the preacher.
Yeah.
So apparently the abbey still has a preacher.
Which this leads us into, unless you have a point real quick. So you're flipping through the book.
There was a specific... Does the doctor think I'm ill? There was a specific piece I wanted to look at about his... his talking about leaving.
Okay. So, the next bit is, again, they're leaving. He definitely, on the route, Laura talks about how he said that they'll be met there by the Mademoiselle and Carmilla with things for what we would call a picnic, which now I want to know the term that she wanted to use in this telling of her tale that isn't picnic, because it was very clear she said the words that we would now call a picnic. I need to research that, like for real.
Yeah.
Did you find your thing?
Well, sort of.
What you got?
This is from Carmilla's point of view, where her father was being short with Carmilla, or sorry, not from Laura's point of view, when her father's being short with Laura. He says, you must not plague me with questions, and she says it's more irritation than I ever remember him to have displayed before. Right, just kind of going back to that thing I was talking about.
He is in fight or flight mode right now, trying to figure out how to fight because he doesn't want to run. He's an old soldier.
Yeah,
it's really, things are really ramping up, and I'm excited to see where it goes because I don't think it's going to be like action packed, and I hope it's not. So I want to see how it gets resolved without, like a big vampire hunt or something, Yeah. What you got?
This part here. So it says, and this is basically Laura's retelling of this element. Laura, her father, and the madame are going to be leaving to the castle, or the Karnstein, to see the priest. And then, as Carmilla had never seen them, she could follow when she came down with Mademoiselle, who would bring materials for what you call a picnic, which might be laid for us in the ruined castle. So it's like saying, we're leaving before Carmilla, she'll probably follow after us. But back to kind of what you were saying is like, that's dismissive, right? It's like, okay, don't worry about Carmilla, we're going to go ahead and leave now. Which, now I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it really leads me to believe that the choice to leave when they leave was intentional by her father to separate Laura and Carmilla.
Yeah. But also, what if it is to see the priest and have Mademoiselle bring Carmilla later after having discussed it with the priest, and maybe the priest could do some, religious, exorcism type thing.
It could be that, but that still is the exact same thing as he's trying to get them separated.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's trying to figure out how to deal with what he is being told might be a fucking vampire.
Well, and the next part, which you have already introduced, they're on their way to Karnstein.
Yeah, my bad. I got ahead of myself, man. I got excited.
It is,
you know how I be?
Yeah, it's interesting. What who do they come upon?
They come upon our old friend the General, who was on his way to them. So he's like, "Oh, bet. Is there a 4 next to that eyeball?"
There are.
That is the that's a big number for us right now.
Hey,
hi viewers. We are discussing chapter 10 of Carmilla.
Yeah,
right
currently
now.
chapter 10 of Carmilla.
But so he says bet, and turns around, hops in their carriage. Well, the father offers it, but I'm pretty sure he would have been like, "Yo, let me get up there anyway."
Yeah, he's like,
turns his whole retinue around and joins them.
Well, he sends the retinue ahead to Laura's house, right?
Yeah,
with all of his
stuff,
gear and stuff. But he's like, I actually have business there anyways, right?
So why is he going to the ruins of Karnstein?
Yeah, why is he going? So
We already know he's been hunting for months.
right. So when the last time we didn't see the general. In fact, I think we got a letter from the general.
Yeah, when we say we see the general, this is the first time we've actually seen the general.
Yeah. So we get a letter from the general, and he says, look, I was going to come by there with my niece, but my niece died, and now I'm going to go search for answers and kill the thing. He referred to it as a creature, the thing.
A thing, a monster.
Yeah.
I can't wait for him to lay eyes on Carmilla so he can be like, that one.
Yeah. The thing that he knows has murdered his niece, who to him was his nearest
Because he didn't have
family.
children,
right?
Yeah, so like his niece was like a daughter to him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So he says, I have business at the Karnstein temple anyways. There's he calls it the extinct family. I have a note about this.
Yeah. the verbiage, what I'm learning while reading Carmilla, it's one of those things that even the smallest detail is important. Like the general's verbiage by saying extinct family, that's important.
Yeah, because how does the father reply? Do you remember?
No.
The father replies, extinct. My wife is a maternal, distant maternal descendant of the Karnsteins.
Mm-hmm. Or was, because his wife is no longer with us.
So it's interesting. He says, I'm gonna. The general says, I have some things to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love this because I just said I can't wait for him to see Carmilla and go, that one? Because we're getting into why I really can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he says, I have some things to tell you, but I just don't think you'll believe me.
And I love, because this is one of an overused trope in horror films or like horror shows that I still love. Hold on, let me do this right. Well, try me. You might be surprised what I believe. Like, hit him with yeah, go ahead. You'll be surprised on if I believe you or not.
Yeah, so her dad basically says, you'll be surprised, but he specifically says, this is not a quote, but I trust that you search for evidence in the things that you believe.
Well, yeah, because he even remarks that the general himself is a man that doesn't believe things until he can see the evidence of those things with his own eyes.
Right.
So he's like, if you're about to tell me something wild, I know it to be true because you saw it or you found enough evidence of it.
Yeah, but then the very next sentence, the general says, I guess I don't recall specifically. I have the page number here. I could look at it, but it's not super important, the specific verbiage. But basically, he talks about preternatural, enemies. Mm-hmm. And the very next sentence is Laura saying, my dad looked at him as if he was crazy. After just saying he would believe him, his very first reaction is, what, are you crazy?
But remember, we are viewing everything from Laura's point of view, Laura's perspective.
Do you think it'd be surprised maybe instead?
I don't think. I think looking at him like he's crazy is right, but not in the way she is taking it. More of a, well, this is a fucking crazy coincidence, isn't it?
Maybe. It specifically said he's questioning his sanity.
But again, this is Laura's perspective.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on in her father's head.
Yeah.
And from all the context we have, there probably is some questioning sanity there because in a lot of media like this, even when they know it to probably be true, they're still like, is this even real? Can this really be happening?
Yeah.
So that questioning sanity will always be there at all points.
Yeah, it's just an interesting change, right? I assure you that I'll believe anything you say because I know the things that you say to generally be based on evidence and fact. To I can't believe you just said that.
But again, Laura's perspective.
Yeah.
We don't know the thoughts in her father's head.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to believe a certain thing because of every action and conversation we've seen with her father.
Yeah.
That it's more of a, damn, can this really be real? Are you really confirming this shit to me right now? Because, that would be, you'd give somebody a crazy look if the fears you had and then somebody you trust implicitly confirms those fears. You're going to give them a crazy ass look.
Yeah, but you're going to give them a crazy look. You're not going to look at them as if they were crazy. I think there's difference, but
But again,
we're seeing it right from here's
a sheltered person's perspective as well.
Yeah.
Remember, Laura is extremely sheltered.
Here's an interesting question then. Do you believe that Laura is a reliable narrator up to this point?
I actually was going to say from Laura's perspective an unreliable narrator, and then I stopped myself because I don't think she is.
Yeah.
I really don't. To be honest, she tells everything at face value, and we know this is her recollecting from her time in this incident. She's in her 20s when she's writing all this.
Yeah.
And she was 18 when it happened. Oh no, I think she's in her 30s.
33 or something.
It's been 10 something years. So I don't think it's unreliable narration because she is telling everything to the fullest extent that she knows and recalls.
So then, before they start on their way, right, with the general, and before he starts telling his tale, because he says, "I have things to tell you."
Oh, I can't wait for this.
He says about the Karnsteins. Literally, he plans on digging them up.
He 100% says he's going to start digging up graves in the Karnstein tomb.
In order to, I wrote this down, the exact vengeance of the heavens on the field, on the fiends. So that's interesting, because what that says to me is during his travels, he's learned, at least in some way, that potentially vampires sleep in tombs.
So what I'm starting to notice is I'm starting to make the parallels with Carmilla and other classic horror that came after. What we're seeing right now is the team up that always happens toward the end.
Fair.
And generally the team up involves the victim. It involves somebody who is still really skeptical but is apt to believe, and it involves the one on the fucking hunt. And right now we have the general who is on the hunt. That is his goal, his priority, eradication.
Wait. So does that make the general the Sherlock Holmes of the story?
No.
And
Laura's father, John Watson?
Yeah.
No.
Seemingly. Without all of the genius level intellect, right? But if we were to draw parallels between character design,
I mean, I will rather push you into the novel Dracula.
You would, because I'm sure that Bram Stoker.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And,
but in Stoker's Dracula, the team is much bigger, and you had Dr. Seward and Van Helsing working very close together. Quincy Morris was the hey, I probably do believe you, but he's from old American West. He's from Texas. He's been around the natives, so he's definitely more apt to believe odd things. And Quincy believes stuff anyway. But then you had Arthur. I can't remember his last name, but the one that just the fourth. He was the one that things were happening to at the time, but he's also the one that was apt to not believe. He believed, but he didn't believe, just like Laura's father right now.
Yeah. Interesting.
So we're seeing our team building.
Yeah.
We have the one on the hunt, we have the victim, and we have the one that is closely tied to the victim that is trying to believe it all, but doesn't know if they do or not.
Yeah, where does that put us in the book?
What do you mean?
That's it, right?
No. We have the general's tale to discuss.
Oh, we did. That's right. It did begin.
Yes, because I am extremely excited to talk about this segment. Because I specifically said a thing about him seeing Carmilla and going, that one right there.
Calling the story, chapter 9, the story. I'm sorry, chapter 11, the story.
Yeah.
Roman numerals.
Roman
again.
numerals kill you every time, dude. So where is the general in this story he's telling? Do you remember?
Well, I remember he is at a party of sorts.
What kind?
A fancy one.
What kind?
Oh, a masquerade ball.
He's at a fucking masquerade ball.
Yes. Yeah.
And who should come up and start talking to him at this masquerade ball?
Well, as the readers, we know that to be, or potentially, it's not like confirmed, but believedly so, the mother of Carmilla.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the mother of Carmilla.
Oh,
Did you skip a note?
No, I didn't, but I didn't take the note. I memorized it, apparently.
Okay.
Got it memorized. Who's that from? You don't know.
No.
It's Axel from Kingdom Hearts. All of them. Got it memorized every time.
Well, I mean, I'm Sora all the way. Actually, that's not true. If you really want to talk about who is the best Kingdom Hearts character, it's Goofy.
Goofy?
It's Goofy all day.
I mean, Goofy doesn't... Well, I don't want to talk about it, but Goofy doesn't cast
the strongest
Zeta
magic in like all
Final
Final Fantasy
Fantasy
lore. He's no longer the strongest. You know, other things can cast Zeta Flare now.
That's true.
It's true. They said we can't have a Donald Duck be the strongest character in all Final Fantasy. They just couldn't have it.
Oh, no.
I would have left it.
Yeah, I would have left it. So he's in this masquerade ball, and Carmilla's mother comes up to talk to him.
She calls herself her mother.
Right.
So.
Man, that was an interesting read, that part there.
Just trying to make no noise when opening the soda can.
It probably wouldn't have mattered, but you started talking about it.
Well, I also made a really weird face. I felt myself do it.
The vampire, did I not take that note?
I don't know, man. I wasn't there reading with you.
Apparently not.
Kristen, was the face weird? I see you dropped an LOL in there. Go ahead, man.
Well, okay, hold on. I don't want to... Tell me what you...
Okay, so, Carmilla's mother approaches him at this masquerade ball, and this is before...
Okay, yeah.
He and his niece had the visitor. And what I found really interesting about a huge chunk of this interaction is she keeps talking about how she knows him, and then he's like, oh, well, I don't remember you, even though she's wearing a mask. But the way she's talking about it is like, you probably wouldn't remember me anyway. I bet the parties she's seen him at were in his youth.
Oh, maybe, but also I wonder too if it's not just that vampire hypnotism thing, right? Where it's we've known each other for a long time.
Oh, so Carmilla, like mother, like daughter in this scenario, they are gaslighters to the end.
Exactly. We've known each other for a long time, right? I can't believe you don't remember me, but I'm not going to tell you who I am. Instead, we're going to talk about all of the good times.
And then what happens during this conversation? Between the general and Carmilla's mother.
Carmilla sits down and starts talking with the general's niece.
Yep, here it is.
And getting close.
Boom. And they keep talking. Mama refuses to take off her mask. They do, however, get to see Carmilla's fucking face.
Yeah, because she's not wearing a mask.
No, I believe they said she took it down to show herself.
Right.
The general is going to see Carmilla and completely crash out.
Oh, yeah.
When he realizes that Carmilla is with Laura and her father, he is going to go ballistic, I think.
Yeah, but I think what's going to be interesting is, well, first of all, just hearing his story wholesale.
Well, we haven't heard wholesale because the reason we almost did another chapter
Was to get to more of it.
is because the story ends at the end of chapter 11 ends. The story is still going.
Yeah, it's still very much in progress. But
Killing me.
He spends the rest of the time that we see him, or at least in this, chapter 11, kind of racking his brain, trying to put it together, hoping she'll remove her mask so he can place a face. And
He keeps asking questions and getting evasive answers.
that's why I was on the team of like vampire hypnotism. Like, what do they call that? They call it something different in every like media, don't they?
It's generally just called hypnosis, but sometimes they'll call it like charm. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, it's a vampire mesmerism.
Yeah.
Like they're mesmerizing them. But it's just hypnotism.
Yeah, so like, trying to implant memories and confuse, and that's really what it seems like, is like, I think I can place this, but it's just out of reach,
But surprisingly, we have one more interesting thing that happens in this part of the general story of that ball. Do you remember what happens next? Or do I need to remind you?
The mother walks away, right?
So one of the mother's attendants, what I'm assuming is an attendant, comes up and gets her attention and says, hey, I need to talk to you. That's not the interesting and important part here. What is how the general recalls this man looking. He said it's the most pale he's ever seen a person outside of a corpse.
Yeah.
And the reason I think it's an attendant is because he also remarks on the gentleman's clothing that though fine and very nice, they are not ball appropriate. But yep, so he comments on somebody being no shit. I've always wanted to go to a masquerade ball.
Yeah, I think
it's like
it would
one
be
of my
fun.
dreams is to go to a masquerade ball.
We did that in D&D. I mean,
I did run a masquerade ball session for you guys, and how'd that turn out?
deadly.
Yeah, very bad for you guys. Very bad for you guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think,
hell yeah, that is so cool. Like, I'm a little jealous.
right?
Like, a little bit.
But also, like, all the bad things happen in masquerade balls, right? Like,
I mean, if you're a horror fan like me, like,
Mask of Red Death,
I'm gonna go to a masquerade ball and just, like, I'm gonna have to
hide in a corner.
I'm gonna eat like 4 gummies, just be totally blitzed out of my mind, not to have the anxiety of a horror novel or a horror film or some
Like, you
shit
don't
on
want
my
to
mind.
like, you're hungry, but you don't want to eat the food. Like,
Honestly, no, I'd be fine with the food and drink, because masquerade balls is usually when a true horror happens, not just poison food and drink. Like some kind of
but
monster.
that does happen in several stories.
Yeah, but it's generally not masquerade balls, because the fun of the masquerade ball isn't poisonings.
Yeah.
It's because you can't see
See
anybody.
who it is, yeah.
So you don't know if there's a monster in your midst.
Well, we do get a name.
Yes. Comtesse?
Madame la Comtesse. Which I wonder if that's...
I am on it. I remembered Karnstein. I remembered Comtesse. I am on it tonight, bro.
Yeah, but I'm like not 100% sure if Comtesse is not just a
Oh no,
title.
I am. It's either a title or just a fake fucking name.
Yeah. Because
Because we know it's a Karnstein.
this feels like French. Madame la Comtesse, so it's like Countess.
You know, it's
ma'am.
it's funny you said it feels like French, because in the general's questioning of her, trying to figure out who she is, he says, well, can you at least tell me, are you French or are you German? Because your mastery of both languages is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, he can't even tell if she's French or German. And she has not given him anything. In
No.
fact, Madame Comtesse was an accident because the attendant that came up addressed her as such. So the general got a piece of information by the wayside.
Yeah, and then he says, the general's like, ha, she's gone. Maybe I can get something out of her daughter.
And this is when we get, this is when he sees Carmilla's face and all that.
And
he got nothing out of
Yeah,
her daughter.
as soon as he's like having that thought is when the Comtesse comes back.
This specific spot made me have a thought and a memory.
Oh yeah?
The thought was, yeah, of course Carmilla didn't give him nothing. She's probably really old, like over 100, which made me have the memory. Before he started telling the story, and they're on the way to the Karnstein ruins, they talk about how the Karnsteins have been gone for a few hundred years. So either Carmilla's really old, which she has to be because there's the fucking painting.
Yeah, we've seen...
Or she was turned... When I say recently, I mean like 50, 100 years.
Yeah, well, the painting's old. The painting is really old. Well, that's interesting. So we're led to believe that it's Carmilla.
Well, they even talk about having the same like beauty mark.
Yeah, but in a lot of like more modern and like tellings, it wouldn't surprise me if there's some like callbacks to this in classical literature, or is the idea of like descendants being twins, right? Mm-hmm. Or of having the same features, or...
But in a lot of Carmilla media, Carmilla always has a fucking painting of herself.
Yeah.
Always. Like, every time.
Yeah. So...
Every time.
It's going to be interesting to see where that lands. I have a feeling it's the thing you said, and not the thing I said.
Because I also have a theory that the mother is not the one in charge.
Yeah.
Like, she probably is, like, a vampire as well. But I think Carmilla is the one in charge. You know,
yeah.
she's the boss, and they're just doing what she wants, how she wants.
Yeah.
Which would lend to the theory that Carmilla's a couple hundred at this point.
Yeah.
Because we know that the current scenes, I think it actually gives a number like 300 or 400 years.
Yeah, I think that painting...
Well, also about for how long the current scenes have been gone.
Oh, right. And I think that painting, I don't recall... I just remember it being the most... like in distress painting they had.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it real quick.
It would have been chapter 3 or 4. It was pretty early.
Position. Let's see. Nope.
Or maybe 5.
I think it's 5. I think it is chapter 5. Yep, because chapter 5 is titled "A Wonderful Likeness."
She says, I'm super excited to see how this painting turned out. Laura does.
There's a picture I have not seen yet. The date, 1698. So, let's see. Let's see if I can find a quick date. Are you going to try and Google it?
I don't know that we have.
You know what? I will Google it real quick then, because we know the painting is 1698. We're dumb.
You mean
it's
at least modern? Years. Well, because the book was written 1873.
Our big running theory is that the book is contemporary to the time it was written.
Yeah.
So yeah, like 200 years.
But then was the painting, is Carmilla only 200 years old, or was the painting just commissioned?
Sure she's older.
Like,
yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I'm sure she's older.
Interesting.
You know what I love about us being dumb like that? We say it every episode. I think in the description blurb on pretty much all social media about what we are, we call ourselves dumb.
I mean,
sometimes we be dumb, man.
It's cool. Nobody's perfect.
That's not true.
Oh?
You don't think your wife is perfect? Just remember, if you say something certain, I will tell her. Not now, because she's probably asleep.
I'm going to read my book here.
So want to tell your wife? My wife's perfect. Boom.
I love my wife. Friend. She's perfect to me, but nobody is what is it? Oh man, I can't.
You said Normie calling you a perfect friend. That's cool, though.
Well, I didn't need you to tell me that.
Oh, look at the big head on you tonight.
Because I am perfect, a perfect friend.
Are you? What point you got here? What are you in chapter?
The last little bit of chapter 11.
Okay.
He's talking about like how he's been like boggling his mind, trying as hard as he can to like put something together.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about this is the part I was talking about. Thinking about joining the conversation between his niece and the countess's daughter. See, here it says countess, which is why I think it might be a title, but maybe I'm wrong.
But that's why I think Comtesse is a name, because
it says
countess would be the title.
Yeah, but the other times they refer to Comtesse as in quotes.
I don't know. We're gonna find out more very soon.
Yeah.
In the book.
And she's like, we're leaving. We're going to leave now. So I shall return and inform Madame la Comtesse when her carriage is at the door.
Yeah, that's why La Comtesse, that is a name. I don't know, dude. Like, I am still fully endorsing this book. And I think we've talked about this before. The farther into Carmilla we get, the stronger our endorsement is becoming.
Yeah, I think it's
we
great.
are like, we said in the first episode, just in the first first 2 chapters in prologue, we 100% are already wanting to recommend this, and now we're about to be at the end.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly recommend this.
Yeah, we're going to finish it out between now and next time. I was right. It just translates to Countess.
Oh, so is it Madam the Countess?
Yeah.
Madam the Count.
Yep.
You know what, man? I'm not going to sit here and talk about the French. I can't. You guys kill me sometimes.
So we're going to finish the book up and talk about the rest of it next time, and also introduce... We'll
probably have already put on social media what's next, and then we'll do
Well, our first episode of each story, I don't want to get too in the weeds, but we've decided it's going to be
talk about the book we're reading,
which means that we can plan to have announced what the book is going to be next time.
Yeah.
And then, because that gives people time to get the book, and then we can talk about what we think of the book.
Yep. Oh, looks like we have a new viewer. Hello, new viewer. We are actually talking about how we're almost done with the book we're reading as a book club podcast, and we're discussing how we're gonna put out there what book we're reading next, so people can read along with us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You having a good night? We really are gonna have to get used to live streaming and not just sitting around with a microphone.
No, that's okay. It's a great story. Have you read it before?
I gotta check something on this.
I actually thoroughly enjoy The Most Dangerous Game. What are you checking? When?
Because what did I talk about last episode? The movie Surviving the Game.
Oh, yes. That's what I was telling you
Yeah.
last time. Some old books in her attic, and I dug them up. Look, man, old books are my favorite things.
He really is addicted to old books.
He
buys very expensive old books.
I do. In fact, my next purchase, if I win enough money at the casino,
because we're going to the casino for a birthday party,
is going to be...
Those are all excellent reads.
Yeah.
All 3 of those are great reads.
I don't have... Let me think. War of the Worlds is... Who? Who is that?
H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells. Yeah. I have a collection. It's not an old book, but it's a 1970s or 80s collection of H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells is good reading. I have a copy of War of the Worlds.
That has War of the Worlds. It also has the Nemo. What's that? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. No, yeah. I have a separate book of that.
Yes, you have a separate book of that. You've shown me that one.
Yeah.
We love old books. We love new books. We just love books.
Yeah, I just enjoy how they look really good on the bookshelf. You know, I've got I
need new bookshelves.
Yeah, I need new bookshelves. Better is subjective, because I think Call of Cthulhu is objectively better than War of the Worlds.
I wouldn't put it above To Kill a Mockingbird, because Lovecraft has much better stories than Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Like The Shadow over Innsmouth is excellent. I can't remember the name of one, but there's one with a wizard that curses a family. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. That was one of my all-time favorite stories. because of the ending.
Yeah, but To Kill a Mockingbird just fits different. It's a completely different type of story.
Yeah, 100%. Because War of the Worlds is aliens. Technically, you can call of Cthulhu aliens, but it's eldritch beings because it's way beyond the scope of our understanding. And To Kill a Mockingbird is a book about banning books.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. To Kill a Mockingbird is a book about banning books. It is a great read. I remember that shit fucked me up. Like the old black and white film. I remember when I saw that as a kid, it really fucked me up.
Yeah.
Are you fact checking me right now?
Giant octopus man dragon causing chaos.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, because Cthulhu is in the Lovecraftian mythos. Cthulhu is like the main. It's almost like Godzilla, where like Godzilla is like the central one that everybody like knows about. But there's some that could be stronger. There's some that could be weaker. Cthulhu is like the poster child of Lovecraftian mythos, and he's just asleep in the ocean.
This is the part I recall.
Yep.
I don't remember.
I
book
could
banning.
I could be thinking of something different.
I think you're
to be
thinking
honest.
of Fahrenheit 451.
I don't think I'm thinking of Fahrenheit 451, but
Or,
that is also about in 1984.
Yeah.
Those are also about banning books, but I don't think those are what I'm thinking of.
But anyways, yeah, that's a good way. If you've ever seen the Chernobog, I like to think of the Chernobog as like inspired by Cthulhu.
Yes, actually, the Cloverfield monster is a great example of people taking cosmic horror and eldritch horror and trying to make it a little bit more understandable than... Yes, so 100% let them sleep. Every time I see a news story about like finding some ancient relic, I'm like, put it back.
Put it back.
Put it back. Have you guys not read any horror, seen any horror? Stop touching things. Stop waking things up. This is how bad shit happens to us. Fuck.
Thanks, Kristen, for coming out, as always.
As always, Kristen, so glad to have you.
We'll be back next Monday.
Same time, same bat time, same bat place.
Yeah. I don't know what date that is.
I can pull it up real quick.
It's the 28th.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because my calendar is like one of my go-to apps on my phone. Because I have a very busy color-coded calendar.
F off.
Sometimes I nap. I have 100%. Like, I can't nap. I so desperately wish I could nap, but I just physically can't. But if I could, I would definitely have a sign on my door that says, "I'm napping, go fuck yourself."
When I think about Cloverfield, I think it's a found footage Godzilla. That's what I think of.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's also, because nobody really knows the truth, and there's a lot of alien connections in the follow-up films, and all the films are connected. So, you good?
You just reminded me of something that is absolutely absurd.
Aside from you as a person.
Yeah. Think Aliens.
Yeah. I loved... The found footage was great. I haven't seen Paradox yet, but 10 Cloverfield Lane was such a great suspense film. Like, it's one of the best suspense films I've seen of all time.
I didn't watch it.
Your thought?
Yeah.
We're bad at not finishing our thoughts.
Yeah. Aliens movie. Greatest alien movie of all time. Probably. At least inspired. Inspirationally, right? I'm telling you. My wife hasn't seen it. Think of what you think that is.
Of like eldritch horror?
No, just aliens.
Just aliens.
Yep, and inspirationally, probably the best alien movie.
That's easy. It's Alien.
No. Not aliens as in horror specifically. Just think of the most inspirational alien movie of all time.
Cowboys and Aliens, I will slap you.
No.
Thank God.
No.
No, because The Faculty is horror. No, Last Voyage of the Demeter is about the Demeter in the Dracula novel.
Yeah.
That's vampires. What?
Really?
Give me something else to go off of here.
Okay, I'll
Remember,
say...
I am
Will Smith.
Independence Day.
Independence Day. My wife has never seen Independence Day. How do you live in America and not seen Independence Day?
Hold on, no. There's actually a much more important question than that. How long have you been together? Not married, together.
Long time. 18 years.
Nope is a fucking fantastic movie. 18 years. In 18 years, you haven't shown your wife Independence Day.
This is my fault?
Yes.
I just learned about this yesterday.
All those 4th of Julys and you never brought up Independence Day?
Exactly. How have you not seen Independence Day? How is this my fault?
It's your fault because my wife also hasn't seen a lot of shit, and I started learning very quickly what amazing films she hasn't seen and showing them to her.
Yeah, like Three Ninjas.
I haven't shown my wife Three Ninjas yet.
My wife hasn't seen Three Ninjas yet.
Ooh, don't tell us shit. Hold on. Let me try and guess. Oh, unless you're talking about Independence Day.
The Purge.
Oh yeah, The Purge is great. I really... The Purge is starting to fall into a slippery category that I absolutely hate in films, that I'm making too much and I'm milking it, and it's starting to not be as good.
No, The Purge wasn't that good after the first, two. The first one was good. Really good.
I really liked the first Purge. The one about, how the Purge got to be what it was. I thought it was an excellent film.
That wasn't the first one.
I believe it was called The First Purge, though. I believe that was the name of the film.
Yeah, maybe. But The Purge became a modern slasher, right?
Yeah.
It's like they keep bringing it back.
I'm gonna say something sacrilegious to slasher and gore film fans, but that's my problem with Saw films. They got really boring really fast.
I don't know what's Ted.
You don't know Ted, the talking teddy bear?
Oh, I didn't know there was a TV show.
Yeah, I haven't watched the TV show yet, but I really want to watch it because every clip I see looks hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a TV show.
I love Ted 2 is also much better than Ted 1.
I enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, but
Thunder Buddies.
Yes, but I think overall Ted 2 is a much better film.
Yeah.
Overall.
You were gonna say something about something, but you interrupted yourself because you do that.
I do that. So, I am happy to sit here and keep talking about movies for a little bit. Just want to remind everybody, we are in fact a book club podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's okay to. I mean, it's okay.
One of our whole shticks is that we've known each other for 20 years. We get to yapping.
Yeah.
We get to yapping.
Well, I guess Lorenzo, we asked Kristen, our other chatter tonight, but we're coming to an end with Carmilla, the book we're currently reading. We're a book club podcast, so we want to start thinking about what our next book is going to be. If you had to pick between something modern, something classical,
or genre
for us to choose from, what would it be?
Because one of our goals is to have listeners and people, because we also put these on podcast platforms, but we want people to be able to read along with us every week and then give their input about things that they found interesting, their thoughts on the chapters we're covering as well.
The Mist.
Ooh.
Stephen King.
I mean, I'll fucking read any Stephen King. One of my favorite werewolf films of all time. I have yet to read the short story it's based on, but Stephen King's Silver Bullet is based on Cycle the Werewolf, the short story of his.
Okay.
And Silver Bullet is probably my second favorite werewolf film, but that will never be... My number one can never be toppled. American Werewolf in London is the best werewolf film ever created. Hands down. No contest.
I watched a... Okay, this is not
I like the idea of The Mist.
Yeah, it's not a bad...
Hold on, let me fucking write it down.
He's gonna put it in our sheet here.
I actually have a whole note in my phone about the podcast too.
I watched this movie that I can't remember. It was like a Disney movie.
You should 100% check out American Werewolf in London. It also has one of the best werewolf transformations just ever. And we got to remember when we're talking, after we read something, we got to look at a camera, not the chat box.
Fair.
Jeez, man, we're killing it.
Hey, listen. We have engagement.
That is true. That is true. I am always happy for some engagement. We're very new to this.
Yeah, we're on number
Technically
7.
Yeah, because our super secret indie episode that we were planning to be 20 or 30 minutes was our longest to date. I think this one might beat it though.
Maybe. So The Mist is good. I think. The werewolf movie. I watched it like it was like a Disney movie. I think. I have no idea.
Start details, buddy.
Yeah,
Details.
it was a kid who like turns into a werewolf, and his sister is like trying to babysit him or something, and they end up in like a movie theater behind the curtains. I like literally cannot place this anywhere, but I saw it somewhere.
I don't think it's Teen Wolf.
It's not Teen
No,
Wolf.
it was Teen Wolf. Like he was like out in the open.
Yeah, that was the basketball. The movie in the 80s was the basketball movie with Teen Wolf. And
Yeah,
then
with
they had
Michael
the-
J. Fox as Teen Wolf.
Then they had the TV show Teen Wolf, which I thoroughly enjoyed. The TV show Teen Wolf, but I can.
Is there like does this kid werewolf like murder anybody?
Well, it couldn't have been. I think it was like a Disney movie.
It
or
might
something.
be. I don't think I know this
Let's
one.
see.
Like to be perfectly honest with you.
Let me ask Google. Maybe they're in a
Go.
Disney werewolf movie.
It's not Werewolf by Night because it's a Marvel project that just came out
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
The Boy Who Cried Werewolf.
Is that it?
This is 2000. It could have been
It's Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. And that's Victoria Justice, I think. Yeah, that is probably it. Is The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. I never saw the whole movie. I only saw a piece of it.
Well, now we gotta watch some fucking random Nickelodeon film you saw in a fever dream in 2010.
A Californian family inherits a castle in Romania. Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, man. Like, okay, we can watch this.
Yeah. Interesting.
Jeez.
Oh man, but talking about like Disney movies, like, I guess not true like theatrical releases. What would be your favorite like Disney Channel movie?
Bro, I don't remember most Disney Channel movies.
No?
To be
I can
honest, it was a weird point in my life, man.
No, I
like
get
the
you.
Disney Channel movies were really big.
Yeah.
There was a lot, you know a lot of the stuff that was
Yeah.
going on then. Yeah.
I can name a few for you. Babadook.
You know,
Have you not watched Babadook?
I
yet?
haven't watched the Babadook yet.
I haven't seen it yet either.
Like, because I have this problem. When there's so much hype behind something, I am terrified to check that something out, especially horror, because I don't want to be disappointed.
I'm 100% a late adopter. I just am. In fact, there's only one thing I got into before other people,
Okay?
and it was solo leveling. I mean,
That is true. You are an OG solo leveling fan. I can at least say I got into solo leveling before it was an anime. I
Yeah.
can say that.
yeah,
But you put me onto it, so.
yeah. So like, I'm a late adopter.
You know what we're going to do one day?
Solo leveling is crazy.
I'm going to take over the... solo leveling is crazy, absolutely. I'm going to take over the stream one day, and I'm going to force you to read Berserk.
Berserk. I have read Berserk. I read Berserk before you read Berserk.
I bet you I've read more.
Oh, you have read more.
Exactly.
I read for like Manga Mondays.
You know, it's really funny you say that because, you know, we're still really new. We're a new stream. We're a new podcast. We're a new idea. And we're trying to figure out how to post to social media more. And I had an idea this past Sunday, and I made a post called Suggestion Sundays that we're going to start doing every week. We can 100% probably do a Manga Monday. We both read enough manga.
Yeah.
Like, it'll probably start out with more mainstream animes that came from a manga that we think people might not have read the manga. But hell yeah, I like the idea of fucking Manga Monday too.
Yeah.
See, this is what we wanted. This is what we want. We want.
What do the people want?
What,
right?
Yeah. Like, yes, we want to sit up here and yap at each other and
Talk about
hopefully other
randomness.
people and talk about the book we're reading and then random shit. But we want the ideas. We want to know what you want.
Okay, Assassination Classroom.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't watched it. I've seen some things about it. I'll for sure need to explain this plot. My understanding of Assassination Classroom is that it is like basically.
Isn't there like a shit ton of fan service?
Wait.
Is that the one?
No. I think you're thinking of Classroom of the Elite.
Or Classroom of the Dead or some shit like that.
Oh no, you're thinking of High School of the Dead, the one with, with the sniper rifle.
I haven't seen it. I just know that scene because of
we talk about
Dead.
it. No, Assassination Classroom is the one with Koro Sensei, which is the octopus-looking thing. That if you're scrolling through, High School DxD is another one that's full of fan service. It's a really interesting. Basically, there's this creature who can like murder everyone, and they put a class together, and their whole job is to like learn how to kill this creature.
That does sound kind of neat.
It is
to
interesting,
be honest,
yeah.
That does sound pretty neat.
I didn't ever finish it because I didn't want to find the end. Does that make sense?
Oh, it's one of those?
Yeah.
That's really rare when you like watch a show or reading a book and you don't finish because you don't want to find the end.
Yeah.
Like some people there's people that do that exclusively.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I don't want it to be over.
Yeah.
Which we all should have done with Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
100%.
Again, I have never watched it, never read it.
I would 100% read it. I will lend you my copies. We'll do that shit for the fucking book club.
It would take a year.
No! Okay, hold on. I can't really say that because, like, my wife still likes Pokemon stuff. And she'll always be talking about, like, what fucking Pokemon is that? I am, like, an OG Pokemon. I don't know much about anything past, like, Gen 2, I think.
I have watched Kanto and Johto. I've watched.
Okay.
Which is...
Kanto was the OG.
Yeah, and Johto was the next one, with which was...
Which is Gen 2.
Yeah, Gold and Silver. I have seen some of the other stuff. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second. Don't hold on. We'll talk about that in just a second.
Why did you say the forbidden word?
Pokemon, I was always into the games. That was it, right?
we liked the games, we liked the cards. I watched the original anime. I didn't watch anything after that.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
One Piece.
Nerd.
I was like bored one day. And this is what happens: is I set myself up for failure.
This was so long ago.
It wasn't though. It was only a year ago.
That's so long ago.
I started watching One Piece from episode 1. There are 1,034 translate because I only watched subs.
Exactly that. Haha. One day. It took over your life for like 7 months.
It did. I
Jesus Christ.
I started watching. I think it was like right after New Year's last year. And
yeah, it was about after New Year's.
And I watched it all 1,034 episodes. There's only like 4 filler episodes in the entire thing. It's like it's very few fillers. So I watched a crap ton of the anime, One Piece, and got caught up because I only watched sub because I don't have time to read the subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
And
you don't know how to read.
It was July when I finished. If you wanted to watch all of One Piece and just binge watch it, it would take you 34 full days.
Listen, I have this problem that Jordan likes to bring up a lot. I get fixated on things. I have an addictive personality. So, like if I start watching or reading something, I really enjoy it. That's all I talk about. It's a problem.
That's true.
I spent about 7 fucking months listening to this man go, God, it's just so hard. I can't do this, but I can't stop. It's so hard. 7 months of hearing him complain about fucking watching One Piece just for to catch up and go, I actually really liked it.
I enjoyed it.
I hate you.
You should watch it. Bleach is fantastic.
Bleach is
whole
great.
thing.
I have never seen Naruto. In fact, your brother just gave me shit for that.
Just watch Naruto. Just watch it. It's worth it, but you have to go... Look, animefillerlist.com is your friend. Don't watch any of the filler. Don't watch any of the Bleach filler either.
Yes, God, skip the Bleach filler. If you don't watch the filler, Bleach is amazing.
Bleach has arcs, entire arcs of filler in between, like in the middle of another arc. Like, just don't watch it. Just Anime Filler List, it's gonna save your life. Watch Bleach. It's good. It's really strong.
It's genuinely good.
Naruto is a really fun, coming of age story, but it's a power fantasy at its heart.
Yeah.
And DBZ, I mean, like at this point, it's don't watch Kai.
No, hold on. I'm gonna address this first. It's anime. Of course, there's really hot characters everywhere. I mean, hold on.
There's actually not a ton in Bleach.
Hold on. Are you gonna? Okay. Speaking of hot characters in anime, we're both wearing hot anime character hats today.
JJK.
Gojo and Gato.
There are only a handful of female characters who are intentionally overplayed in Bleach.
Yes.
There's
But I mean, a lot of the characters,
Yoruichi.
a lot of the characters are still rather attractive. Like not like hot.
Yeah, well, like there's Yoruichi.
Mei for life. I don't know, that one scene ruined Mei for me. That one single scene. DBZ, I would say not like watch
Just watch Kai.
But no, watch DBZ and end at the I would say the Cell Saga. The Boo Saga is good, but Cell Saga is like the pinnacle.
Yeah, Cell Saga is.
Yes, that scene is terrible. It's unnecessarily terrible.
I wish that Kira Toriyama would have taken his original path with DBZ and made Gohan the protagonist.
Well, at least we got the future Gohan story. And then apparently now Gohan is about on par with Goku and Vegeta, as he should be.
He is strong. They had the movie Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I watched the movie. The enemy is broken. Doesn't make any sense. Why is that a thing?
But so Goku can beat them, duh.
Goku doesn't show up.
Oh, good.
It's
because DBZ got the reason I say stop at Cell is because after the Cell Saga is when it stops being Dragon Ball Z and it starts being the Goku show.
Funny anime ghost stories. No, we can't watch ghost stories.
Hold on,
I just can't.
hold on.
I can't.
I love that you bring up ghost stories because I was around for that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I watched that as a child with that absolutely insane dub, and the fact that it is now out on like actual streaming platforms and you don't have to pirate it with that fucking crazy insane dub, because they told them, they're like, we don't really know how to do this, so y'all just do whatever the fuck you want, and that's why that dub is insane.
Well, actually, what I think it was the producers. The producers weren't really in tune with what was going on.
Yeah.
And so the voice actors, they didn't get a lot of direction. So they're like, how over the top can we make this?
All the way over the top. Mm-hmm. They somebody was counting sheep and then saw the cow jump over the moon, and the fucking voice actors were above the cow, like far above the cow.
But talking about One Piece, I'm not going back to One Piece.
See, look, Lorenzo, I told you, you said the forbidden word. You did it.
No, it just reminded me of something else. There was an anime I started watching, or I rather started reading originally. It was Detective Conan.
Okay.
In America, it's called Case Closed.
Oh yeah.
And it's a really interesting story. I like mystery novels. I like mystery.
Mystery's great. I mean, that's why one of my favorite novels of all time is The Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, and Detective Conan is a serialized, like, every episode is a mystery they solve. Yes, Detective Conan. I unfortunately never finished because first of all, it's still going. That's part of the problem. It's the longest I think it's the second longest running anime of all time. And I just want to see how it ends, because the main character, who I can't remember his name, gets turned into a kid, and he's solving all these mysteries as a kid, and like the whole arc of it, like the overall arc, is like him supposed to be trying to solve the mystery of who turned him into a kid and getting grown again.
Oh. That actually sounds really fucking cool.
But it's also the anime that made Moonlight Sonata my favorite classical song.
You know what made Moonlight Sonata my favorite classical song?
What's that?
Resident Evil 1.
Ah.
Because there is a piano puzzle where you have to play Moonlight Sonata.
Nice.
And that's my favorite game of all time.
Actually,
You know what? That's
I'll
a
tell you.
great point.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the second. Let's see.
You know, while he's looking that up, I actually have a question. I want to know everybody's. What, Jordan, Lorenzo, what are y'all's like number one favorite anime of all time?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Not for me, it's not, and you know that.
I've watched more anime than you.
I've still watched a lot of anime. Because remember, the first anime I ever watched was Vampire Hunter D on the fucking Sci-Fi Channel when I was like 6. I'm fucking 37. Old as shit.
So when I said longest running, I meant episode count, which is part of the problem. Let's find Lupin.
Why don't you control F that shit, dog? I know it is a tough choice for a lot of people. If you have to like ballpark it, 155 episodes?
Yeah, Lupin is the third. Part 2 is 155 episodes. Doraemon, Seize-san, Doraemon again. Case Closed is sitting at number 16 with 1,156 episodes.
Jeez.
One Piece, concurrently running, still in production, 1,125 episodes.
Well, Case Closed is still in production.
Yeah, that's my problem. Okay, number one, favorite anime
Oh, no, because this is... Never mind, because you're looking at anime, not manga. Yeah,
Yeah.
number one favorite anime.
of all time.
Yes.
What would I go back to and watch again and again? I mean, I can't tell you one. I just can't.
You can... Okay, I will make it easier for the both of you. You can give me 3.
Well, I'll do it this way. I'll tell you my favorite combat anime of all time, like fighting, like martial arts anime, is Kenichi, Earth's Mightiest Disciple.
Okay.
My favorite all-time, Black Lagoon, so good.
I still haven't watched that one. I'll put that as my next. Because I just started Ancient Magus' Bride, so I'll watch Black Lagoon next. Lorenzo, that is my promise to you. I will watch Black Lagoon after I finish Ancient Magus' Bride.
I made a decision for my top number one
Of all time?
of all time.
What?
You're gonna laugh.
Oh, God. It's going to be something fucking stupid.
That time I was reincarnated as a slime.
Which I haven't started watching yet, and I'm not actually going to laugh because all I've heard is that time I got reincarnated as a slime is phenomenal.
It's a power fantasy, sort of, but not really.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much depth to the character. I mean, it's an isekai, right? Like, it is just an isekai, but if you haven't watched That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, definitely do. I love it. Fire Force. So, Fire Force Season 3 just came out. Fire Force Season 2 was a little boring.
Okay.
But because they were doing more world building.
I haven't started Promised Neverland yet, but I did hear that, like, it starts going downhill.
Okay, so I have refused up to this point to watch Promised Neverland, Clanad, Elfen Lied, and what's that one? Made in the Abyss.
Okay.
Because I hear that they are the most emotional anime of all time, and I don't like having those.
That's right, because my wife keeps talking to me about watching Promised Neverland, and she's like, you are 100% going to cry. Because I'll cry at fucking books, movies, anime. Like, if that shit's really emotional, I will cry. And she's like, you are going to cry when you watch this shit. I mean, I cried at my favorite anime.
I just don't want it. I just don't. Toradora? Yeah.
I haven't seen Toradora.
I haven't watched Toradora yet, but yeah, I just...
We're creating a list right now of things we gotta watch.
We really should close this out so we don't have to add too much to the backlog.
Yeah, check out Clanad.
Clanad. Yeah. It's yeah, those are the 4 that I just refuse to watch.
Okay.
And maybe I will watch them at some point.
You probably will.
I just haven't found like they're anime that you have to be looking for that type of anime.
100%. Like because I fell into Demon Slayer accidentally because I was just having a sad day and I was in a really sad mood. I was like, I want to watch something not depressing.
And then you cried.
And then all I knew about Demon Slayer was cool fights against demons. And in the first 5 episodes, I was crying like a bitch.
Yeah.
But I was also having just a really sad day already. On top of definitely do not watch Higurashi When They Cry.
Huh.
Huh.
I've never heard of it.
No.
A good one.
Look that one up.
Another good one
Okay.
that was really good in season 1 and then was good in season 2, but not nearly as good, is Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, darker than Berserk is kind of saying something.
Oh, man.
If you haven't watched it, don't. Goblin Slayer.
I haven't watched Goblin Slayer. I haven't.
Don't.
I've heard, like, a lot of it is really good, but there's just so much that's not.
I don't
it makes
even
it
think
not worth it.
I don't think it's that deep. Like a lot of people are like, oh, there's just so much more to it. I don't think there is.
So the inverse of people that don't know anything about Berserk, and they're like, I mean, it's like, it can't even be that deep. It's a guy swinging a big sword killing shit. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It is so much deeper. It's honestly deeper than Attack on Titan, which says a lot.
Yeah. Well, I hate to be that guy.
Yeah, it is about that time. Lorenzo, thank you for joining us and chatting.
If you enjoyed it, if you want to, do book club with us, make sure to do a follow. And we're also on YouTube, where things will go up. Well, in the live section. I haven't done any editing so far. It's mostly been live, but I really want to cut things up into like bite-sized segments for people.
We're also, you can check us out on podcast platforms, and our socials are on Instagram and TikTok right now. We are probably going to branch out. We also have a Discord server that we are getting set up.
Yeah.
And our next live will be Monday the what? You said it earlier.
28.
Yep, Monday the 28th at 11 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, we'll spend the first part of we'll spend the very first part just talking, because that's what we do.
Yep,
And then we'll talk
yap
about
on.
the book. And then we'll do some more of this. So thanks for coming out and spending time with us. And, hit the follow so you can know when we're going live.
What's my YouTube thing? Smash that bell button. That's what they do on YouTube, right?
Yeah, do that. And